Okay, we're on. This is our first real podcast for the season, the kickoff, because this weekend we've got the NRL happening. It's so good to know that you can Friday night you can sit down and you can turn the TV on. There's going to be footy on. Actually, Thursday it starts, so it's going to be fantastic. And with us today, a man that's helped us with the podcast over time, a journalist extraordinaire, a wonderful author of many books, James Phelps. How are you, mate?
Good, mate, and even better now that Rugby League's back. Bring it on. It's been a very, very long off-season.
I know. It just gets too long. You're just constantly thinking, oh, what can you watch on Friday? There's just nothing happening. So you go to the pub and have a few drinks.
No, there's plenty to watch if you've got the right links on your phone. There's been a few videos to view on the weekends.
Yes. And that's
WhatsApp. I get them all in WhatsApp.
That's the one.
Uh-huh.
Jeez, that's going to bring so many people undone that thing, and has already.
I'd just be keeping your phone locked away, mate.
Mine's very
maybe
clean.
by a
Thank
burner.
you very much, mate. Very clean. I've never done anything wrong, and anything I was busted for, it wasn't proven in a court of law. So
It wasn't you.
how you going, Phelpsy? Good. What's going on? Have you been watching all this stuff going down with the footy?
Absolutely, mate. It's I've actually been on holidays writing a book, but I haven't been in the trenches reporting on it. But thankfully, actually, it's been a bit of a relief. But I have kept up to date with it. It's been a little bit hard to escape from. It's just been one of those off seasons that I don't think we're ever going to forget. It's been dominated by headlines of all the wrong sorts. And to be honest, we haven't really heard a lot about football. Usually at this time of year, we're talking about who's in, who's your big player at your club, how your team's going to go,
all the positive
expectations.
stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
And all we've been hearing about is court cases, sanctions, whether they're fair or they're not. And unfortunately, lots of misbehaviour.
Have you seen does the Telegraph and all them still do like the big season lift out thing, and you put it on your wall and it's got all the games coming up and posters
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
stuff like
mate.
that?
There was a fantastic 60-page lift out in the Telegraph last Thursday, which was
About all the good stuff.
yeah, who's in, who's out, the expectations, predictions. It was a really good lift out and a must for league fans if you can get hold of one. It's got all the
In there
draws,
amongst all the
matches.
smut, eh?
Oh yeah, mate. They don't. Unfortunately, we don't generate the smut. We just report on it. So
No, I mean, just in general, the topic of all the smut going on.
Yeah,
You should buy a paper one day, Egg. It's really good. You can read it. It's black and white.
Look, I don't like them. I don't like them.
Well, I mean, being a podcaster...
You've got to be able to read. And
Oh, okay.
That helps.
That would help. But being a podcaster, you probably need to read a little bit,
Yeah, but I don't like. It's a low gloss gossip magazine. The newspapers.
Oh, is it?
I think they are. So I don't really go to there for my news. You usually see everything on the net anyway.
I used to buy the paper regularly in the morning, the Daily Mirror actually, when I was playing footy, and the page 3 girl was always worth a look.
Because you're a disgusting old sleazy footballer, mate.
Yeah,
So
right.
wait a minute, where do you go for your news, Eric Jr.?
I usually see someone.
BBC One, or I mean, where? It's gotta be
Someone will
something
put
highbrow.
something online, and I'll just start a rabbit hole, and then I find all independent stuff, and then I follow them and subscribe to their stuff, and then I'll watch all
NRL
their-
memes. Were you subscribing to that one?
NRL memes. No, is that a social media page?
That's
That was the
a
one-
Twitter account. Well,
that
it
was
used
the
to
one
be.
that got shut down the other week. It was
right.
posting all the videos.
Oh, okay. Well, were they posting everything? Were they?
Yeah, they were. And
Where's the law that if you send something privately that you not that some of those videos were doing were pretty bloody filthy, but there was some that like is there a point where it can be considered private and you can sue someone for releasing private back and forth context?
Well,
No?
he's gone now. They've taken him down.
Yeah, Facebook barred him, but I mean, there's the laws around that area are very grey, but there's certainly sharing laws involved with sharing videos, which can be prosecuted under Australian law, and I think the police are actually looking at that in relation to Tyrone May at the moment.
Yeah, you reckon? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that, Phelpsy?
Mate, I don't know. I really don't know.
It's a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, it's obviously not a good look, but they're private videos, and he hasn't put them out there. He hasn't broken a law, but when they do get out there, it's a really, really bad look, and it's something you don't want your kids seeing, and it's damaging rugby league.
Yeah, depending, I guess, on those videos being seen by the public. Obviously, depending on the severity of what's going on in the videos, and it's not that I want to watch it anyway, but it's just there, isn't it?
For me, what is sicker is the fact that they want to throw it out there and show people.
But it starts as between them on a private, so I think one of them was Snapchat, and it had the most vulgar shit going on in the video, and it was sexually violent, and whether or not she was interested in that sort of things, I don't know, but that was between their private Snapchat. I'm pretty sure it was Snapchat, and so someone's shared that, or you can record your screen, and they've done that, and they've shared it with whoever else. And all it takes is one bloke to share it with one other bloke, and that one bloke would be a wanker and post it.
Junior, what's the go with all this sharing? For a start, sharing a roach, getting into a gangbang, and if that's not enough, then having to share the video. I mean,
yeah.
Hang on,
you
why
wouldn't go without as a footy player.
Why am I getting asked for? This is what I reckon. I reckon a rugby league lifestyle, like a first grade footballer, it's painted in a light that it's a bit of a rock star lifestyle for that small bubble that it is. If you're playing regular first grade and you're on TV, you're pretty cool in regards to your kids that you grew up with at school and your social circles. You become considered a bit of a success. And what goes with this high adrenaline kind of, sometimes, or more often than it should, the high adrenaline kind of high octane sport is that kind of party lifestyle, that rock star lifestyle, when first of all it doesn't suit them, it doesn't seem to suit them, and second of all some of it's just bordering on fucking illegal, and I think that they just get carried away. I honestly think it's their ego.
I can understand if they took cocaine, that's got some fun benefits. I can understand if they're getting drunk, I can understand
it's
fighting
just ego,
a bloke
power
even,
out of control. That's all it is.
Sharing a woman, mate, I hold on to the women that I get quite closely. I don't let anyone near them. If someone looks at them the wrong way, I'll be telling them to back off. And
it's I don't know. I reckon it's ego out of control a little bit. Like they're a little bit hot-headed, young, flash in the pan, coming up through the grades, and they starting to be a bit ruthless because they get away with murder a little bit, because they're the cool guy or whatever. And it escalates into fucking filthy, disgusting games that they're playing with their mates, filming and think shit like this needs to happen. So I guess they go, fuck, I'm not doing that anymore,
And I guess that's the big problem a lot of people have, is these videos look like they're on a power trip and they're degrading women.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
Look, it's a combination of things. I think because there's so much pressure on. They train so hard in the off season, especially, and they get to this point where they kick off the season, and it sort of subsides a little bit. But when they get to the point where they can go out and have a drink, and it's not very often these days, they make sure they've got managers and stuff that are there with them, and they get put away in a room and they can have a few drinks. But sometimes they get let out, and it's a real let your hair down thing, and it just becomes. It looks like it becomes too much for them.
Well, do you want to go through them? We're talking about all these incidents. Let's have a look at what we got. So October, Greg Inglis, drink driving. November, Jared Haynes stood down and sacked from his contract after being charged with rape. Zane Musgrove, Liam Coleman in November on assault charges. Jacob Safidi in December, assault charges by the looks of it. Dylan Walker, December, alleged assault on his partner. Jack DeBella, alleged sexual assault in December. Tauto Moga, what have we got? A common assault due in court on March. Michael Cheekham, another assault. Dylan Napa, the big papa. That was a sex video, of course. Cronulla Sharks, a lot of them got in a blue up at the sailing club in January. Jay Salmon, another low-range drink driving. Ben Barber, he was another domestic assault issue, or allegation, I should say. Then we've got Tyrone May with his videos. And only yesterday, Isaiah Papali stood down for drink driving.
Oh, really? Okay. A lot of those I didn't hear about. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when you say it like that, it sounds horrible, doesn't it? But then I guess you got to give everyone the benefit of the doubt initially in regards to each case is case sensitive. And, by amalgamation of saying them all in a row, that sounds awful. And it's like, the whole of the NRL's got a massive problem. And maybe it does, but a lot of them haven't been found guilty yet. And if they all were found guilty, then... Well, you can't really keep sticking up for people if they're going to keep fucking up, really, at the end of the day. But they know that once they sign that frigging contract, you're just going to be watched, and anything you do is going to be magnified. If you fart in a pub, people are going to talk about it, and people are going to hear about it. And you just got to
they'll definitely hear about it, yeah.
That's going to be some big fart. So, you said that they should have the the presumption of innocence. Well, they don't anymore, and that's probably one of the other big things to come out of the off-season is that they have a no-fault law now, which means that if you're charged with an offence that carries a sentence of 11 years or more, you're automatically stood down until you clear your name in court. And there's also discretion for charges lesser than that with the NRL.
What do you think of that? What do you think about that, James? I mean, they've obviously got their court proceedings and everything to sort of unfold, but the NRL are then throwing that onto them as well.
Look, I was really, really against it at first. I've always been one for the court process and natural justice to prevail. But then someone quite rightly pointed out that even if you're in court and you haven't been convicted yet, that the courts do have the power to put you in prison, deny your bail. So even though you're not guilty of anything, you're still being punished. And I think that's the way the NRL are looking at it. And their theory is, well, our brand's been damaged. If you're facing a serious charge like Jack de Belin is, even if you're not guilty, you've been charged. And every time you run out into the football field, everyone's talking about it. Sponsors are looking at it, and it's damaging the brand, which is the NRL.
So let me ask you this.
Enough's enough.
Let me ask you this then. What happens if, and this has happened before, and I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what happens if they're found, some of them, say the Jack de Belin case, let's just say, for instance, he's found to be innocent. What then happens to the party that put the claims forward that were proven to be false? Because I always hear about these. I know, but why? Because it's fucking life ruining. Like that. If that hasn't happened, and this has happened before.
The Brett Stewart incident's been well pointed out.
100%.
If he was stood down for all that time, it had the possibility of ending his career.
Exactly, and it's just why. Well, where's the other side of it?
And I agree that anyone can go and make an allegation, and that allegation, even if it's not true, can potentially see you stood down from your job as an NRL player. But again, if it was just an allegation and there was nothing to it, or the police could prove that, it wouldn't get to a charge state, would it? The police only charge if they have enough evidence to go through with that. But again, I think a blanket ban, which the NRL have imposed, is probably wrong. I think they probably have to set up their own style court and have someone that's a previous magistrate or a current magistrate go through all the facts and hear from the player and the other people involved, and then determine if the ban is suitable.
Yeah, that's probably the best way around it.
Look, I understand that the governing body, the NRL, ARL, they need to keep the game squeaky clean. So I understand where they're coming from, but they also need to understand that they're not the be-all to end-all either. We're talking about a human situation now. I mean, we can say that the game's tarnished because the player plays rugby league, but I mean, whether he's playing marbles or he plays bowling or whatever, it's a human mistake for what they've done. It's not a rugby league thing. So it's a tricky situation. They have to take into consideration the welfare of the player and, of course, the welfare of the victim. So there's no winners until the court case finishes anyway. It's just...
And just on a note that this isn't final. It's being challenged by Jack de Belin. He's going to go into court, we think, on Thursday and apply for an injunction saying that the NRL has no grounds to do what they're doing. That'll be on Thursday morning, so he could very well be cleared to play. He won't be playing on Thursday night because the game's in Townsville, but he might very well be available for the week after. I
saw that yesterday. Ben Barber went ballistic on a reporter.
Yeah, that was pretty sad viewing, actually, when you see a guy like Ben Barber snapping like that. But I guess that's the stress he's put himself under.
Yeah, and another McGregor just got done too for ripping some phone off some bloke filming him outside of a nightclub at 5 a.m. and he stomped the phone until it was broken.
Who was that?
Conor McGregor.
That's all theatre. That's all part of that sport, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I reckon it makes it more interesting to watch. Definitely.
We forgot one actually. Penny Terapo was stood down by the Parramatta too in regards to being on a flight and being drunk and harassing some people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who hasn't done that?
Rugby league.
Yes.
Oh, fuck! Is there anything good happening in the game or what?
God.
Well, hopefully on Thursday night the goodness starts, and that's with the season opening match. So maybe we should talk about a bit of footy, boys. What do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. Thursday. It's all happening in the Storm take on
Melbourne,
Broncos.
Brisbane.
Yes.
We're out Storm.
Yep,
no,
Amy.
Oh yeah, sorry, it is Amy. Yeah.
And I guess the question mark in this game is no Billy Slater, and Brisbane I think are going to go in as favourites, but it's pretty much the same Brisbane side. They've got a new coach, but
Yeah.
they've still got those same halves that didn't do the job for them last year. So that might be the question mark over the Broncos again this year.
Maybe, yeah. The Storm look a little bit different without Billy there, and Cronk's gone obviously for the last couple of years, but the Broncos have a new coach. They might have a new lease of life, so that might work for them this time.
And Storm are the favourites, eh?
Well, they are. Well, yeah.
Who knows? I fucking don't know. I haven't been watching anything. How do you know? Like, everyone thinks they know about... No one goes and watches trial. Did you watch any trials, Phelpsy?
No, trial form's irrelevant.
Yeah,
as well.
I know, but I mean, like, we're all just guessing on what we're hearing.
It's all based on what they did last year and their new recruits. So we won't get a form guide until probably 10 rounds in.
Yeah, but the Storm, no matter who they field down there, are always hard to beat. So it's a real hard road trip down there.
That's right. And you expect that any new players under Craig Bellamy's structure come in and they learn. It's all in roles. They learn their role. They slot in. You don't see a lot different. They're going to have the next lot
of freaks again, probably for the next 15 years soon. Won't be long. He's bloody training up his soldiers. They'll all be ready for it.
I'll tell you one player that didn't sort of... Storm have got a wonderful record in regards to players going down there and improving as players and becoming steely in defence and becoming better attackers and just better all-round players. Cassiano, he's just left them and he's gone over to England to play. He signed a contract to play over there, and he's probably the only one big-name player that didn't reap the rewards by going down to them.
Yeah, they didn't feed him. Did you see those pictures of him at the start of last year?
He lost a lot of weight, didn't he? Yeah, absolutely.
He looked like a halfback.
Yeah.
Sometimes that goes against a big bloke. Like everyone thinks, if they got lean and agile, they'd kill it, and they do, but they lose a lot of their oomph, and they lose that kind of strike power when they back off the weight. I remember even when I was either around 105 kilos or I was lighter at 101, 102, and that was it's only 3 or 4 kilos. It was such a massive difference when you're running into people, like to feel that extra little bit of weight help you push through someone. And him being notorious for just bash and barge type of attack, it didn't seem to favour him at all to lose any kegs. I saw him at a races one day. This was before he'd gone to Melbourne, and mate, he was the biggest human being I've ever seen. Like, just a massive slab of human. And it would, I wasn't playing that. I was thinking, imagine getting in front of that like a full steam ahead. It'd just be horrendous.
So that should be interesting. Look, it's hard to pick a winner out of the first round. I mean, in any type of tipping.
Wait a minute, who are the Eels playing?
Yes, well, that's
Panthers.
True.
They'll win.
That's true. In a tipping competition, the first couple of weeks, the women just pick things, and they always get a lead up front, and they're hard to peg down then. So they like these first round type things, where the women just pick.
Are you saying that women have got no idea? Is that what that was?
What was that?
Were you just suggesting that women have no idea when it comes to
No. I'm saying there's something that they do. They've got some sixth sense that they can, they know who's going to win.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice try. You nearly got out of that then. I thought that was pretty
Be careful, Steve Mortimer. You saw what happened to him last week.
What happened to him?
I probably said the wrong thing and got hauled over the coals for it.
What did he say?
It was something about women. It was sort of some suggestion that these women might have a bit of involvement in the scandals that are going on, and it was taken out of context.
You can't say fucking anything,
it didn't go down too well.
If all he said was it might be fucking Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he said the wrong thing, but I don't think he particularly meant it. It didn't sound real good.
Yeah.
Okay, then on Friday we've got Knights taking on the Sharks. They played a trial match against each other, didn't they?
Yeah, Knights are probably the one that we're all watching out for this year to see how they go. They had a lot of improvement last year, and this year they've got some recruits headlined by Dave Clemmer.
Yep.
So, a lot of people are tipping them for top 8, top 4. And
Knights.
Sharks, of course, yep, absolutely. They're one of the hottest back teams at the moment, and the Sharks are all looking at Sean Johnson.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that works out. Yeah, absolutely. He's a different style of player, isn't he, for them?
Good to see everyone in their new colours.
And a new coach too for the Sharks, so it's going to be an interesting transition.
Yeah, pumped to see Johnny Morris.
Any one of your old teammates.
Yeah, champion Blake, mate. He was pretty much, it was a no-brainer because he's worked very closely with that club over the last few years, and he's one of the blokes who's just, what you see is what you get. He's just professional in every sense. Like, he was always the first bloke there stretching, last bloke there stretching down. always doing his recovery, always eating perfectly, always immaculately dressed. He's just like, and he never leaves a stone unturned. One of the funniest, most fun blokes to ever have a drink with, but can also switch it off and go, full nerd.
You should try and get a job down there and maybe entertainment manager, good time manager or something.
What could I tell him, honestly?
Roosters is taking on the Rabbitohs. That'll be a beauty on Friday night.
It's going to be probably the match of the round, you'd think. We've got the Premiers going up against a side that was almost there last year, and they're coached no other than the great Wayne Bennett, so he'll be making his debut. And this is potential blockbuster, isn't it?
Be interesting to see too how Cooper Cronk has come back from his shoulder injury, if he can handle the defence again and get into these robust style of play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll tip the Chooks for this one.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, Roosters for me too. Yep. And then we got the Super Saturday, Phelps. We've got the first game, Warriors taking on the Bulldogs.
My mob, mate. My mob, they're at $2.55. A lot of people are picking them to battle it out with the Eels for the spoon.
Yeah.
Mate, they'll absolutely touch up the Warriors over there. It'll be 50-60-0.
Who do you reckon's going to get the spoon, Phelpsy?
Mate, yeah, it's again a difficult one, but the Eels, I think you can't.
Fair dinkum. Were we written off
What have
already?
they got? What have they got on last year aside from losing Corey Norman?
And
Jared Hay?
We won our trial match.
Junior Paulo?
Yeah, mate, it just they haven't added a lot, and the way they performed last year, a lot's the same. What can you see improving where those other teams that were down there?
Listen to you negative guys. I reckon they'll win the top 8.
They'll win it.
They'll win the top 8.
What kind of award's that?
That's a good call.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, that's depressing. Hopefully not. I hope they prove everyone wrong. I remember when everyone wrote off one of Brian Smith's team. It might have been 2000, 2001, I can't remember. And they ended up breaking all the records. 2001, I think it was.
Beware the underdog.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you're going to talk about potential spoon teams, the only other ones you'd throw in the mix are the Bulldogs, the Titans,
Warriors,
the Tigers, maybe, and the Warriors. Manly could implode given what's been happening off the field there, but other than that, you wouldn't pick any of the other teams, would you?
The Warriors are hot favourites, aren't they? $1.50 to beat the Bulldogs at Mount Smart Stadium. I think the Warriors will win that. But
the Warriors win a lot of games at home. I mean, that's why they don't collect wooden spoons, and they're always around the edge of the 8. They don't lose a lot in New Zealand.
Yeah. Who are you going for?
What? You know who I'm going for?
Bulldogs, you idiot.
No, I mean you, Egg. Sorry.
Me, Warriors.
You want to Warriors? Yeah, just like that, eh?
Yep.
The West Tigers. Yeah, this is an interesting battle too. At West Tigers taking on the Sea Eagles. The West Tigers, to me, the coach, I reckon he'll make a big difference to this mob. They'll become a lot steelier in defence. And they could be a real nuisance side in the 8.
I think Michael Maguire, I know him quite well. He's one of those coaches that's going to get the best out of a team straight up.
Yep.
I mean, the initial impact he's going to have is going to be quite huge. The players respond to his hard edge, his hard nose, and they're going to be a completely different side. Where Madge got himself into trouble was at the back end, where people probably became a bit tired of how hard he actually was. He's quite full-on Madge, but I think we're going to see the Tigers improve.
And in saying that too, Des Hasler's back at the Eagles, so he's going to provide a bit of spark there, a bit of new interest.
Well, if he reinvents himself, because what he did at the Bulldogs before he left, I mean, their attack was woeful.
So you're happy to see him go, Phelpsy?
Low blow, eh?
You wouldn't write Des off, but I just remember the way he was playing, his attacking style at the Bulldogs. He didn't progress from what he did when he had success with, the Dogs in their first year, and at Manly it was all, one-dimensional, flat block plays, and he just wouldn't reinvent himself. So
it's funny how it can work for one group of blokes and not the other, when you train and that for it. And
it's different dynamics and all that, isn't it?
Yeah, lots of variables.
Big word, variables.
Really?
Then the last game on Saturday, Cowboys taking on the Dragons. The Cowboys, for me, when you're talking about teams taking the wooden spoon, I mean, there's another one maybe.
The Cowboys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, home matches. They don't lose a lot up in Townsville, and I think you're going to see a very different side this year. Michael Morgan will take over from JT. I think what we saw last year was he took a back seat again when JT came back. The year before, Morgan took them to a grand final by becoming a dominant half when JT wasn't there. And I think they couldn't quite work it out last year with how those two work together. Now it's going to become Morgan's team. We'll see him become the player he needs to be. Jordan McLean had an injury-ravaged season last year. Matt Scott did too. I think, we'll see a completely different Cowboys outfit, but the loss of Ben Barber will help hurt them because that's one area that they were looking to recruit and have a lot of improvement in.
Yeah. And Dragons, I mean, they were leading the comp there at one stage for a little while last year.
A lot of people have got them as premiership contenders.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. They're adding Corey Norman to the squad. I think the Jack DeBellin issues put a bit of a cloud on that now, but they're still going to be a very strong side.
And the probably the other game of the round too is Panthers take on the Eels. The
Battle of the West. Bring it on.
Actually, I take Dragons to beat the Cowboys there in the other game.
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys.
Egg, are you involved in this conversation or what?
Not really.
He doesn't care.
Shit.
Yeah.
Rugby League's the winner.
Yeah. Panthers taking on the Eels. For me, the Panthers are going to win that one. I think the first game. I don't want to see that happen, but I think
it actually might be a good time for the Eels to get them with all the stuff that's been going on with the videos. Maybe round one at Penrith, a good chance to sneak a bit of a surprise upset.
A video's been known to spur people on.
It could go either way. You know what it's. Well, Eric would know what it's like when your team's under a bit of controversy and backs to the wall. It either goes one or two ways. That it solidifies you and you get the best out of it, or it's too big a distraction and you fold.
It's the worst when you're losing every week. Far out. It's like a weird headspace that's hard to get out of.
It is, but it just takes a little bit of just a little bit of positive stuff to just roll on a little bit, and then you get a couple of little balls go your way, and things can change very
definitely
quickly.
Change the whole vibe of a team. Yeah, I remember. 09 when we were losing all the time, and it was just like, oh, this is it. And then we beat Melbourne, and then we had that run to the grand final. It was like, fuck, what a contrast in energy in the bloody place, you know? It just changed.
But then you let everyone down in the grand final.
We did. We let everyone down from the Salary Cap sheets. That's all.
What do you guys think about Ivan and Nathan working together? Of course, they'll make their debuts as coach and player on Sunday. You two are working together now. Obviously, it can be done. How would you guys go on together?
It would have been.
Well, I would have made
a little bit.
I would have made Eric captain
straight away.
Yeah,
straight away. I don't know. So I just can't wait till they play their old club. Like, that's going to be a big shit fight, that one.
Yeah, the Tigers. That's going to be a good one. But no, on a serious note, how would you go on coaching Eric Jr., Eric Senior? He was a bit wayward at times, and a few coaches couldn't get the best out of him. Would have you smacked him into shape? Or?
Well, it would have been hard for me too, because I was wayward at times as well. So I would have been able to see exactly where he was coming from. So
but yours wasn't bloody played out in the media, was it? In the 80s. You can do what you want in the 80s. Take me back to the 80s.
Thank God for that, yes. But
how's he going to drop his son if Nathan goes bad? I mean, that's probably, we're not expecting that because Nathan.
Well, you just have to. You just have to. You take some ownership. The son. I remember when I played bad a couple of weeks in a row, and Michael Hagan was going to drop me. I said, "Hags, give me one more chance, and if I don't, I'm going to really go hard this week. If it doesn't work out, then drop me." It didn't work out, he dropped me. And I didn't whinge, because I said one more chance. I probably should have said two more. But ended up one, and I got dropped. And you just take some ownership. Righto, I played like a piece of shit. I'm going to play in the lower grades and get my shit back together. You know who never got accolades for... Daniel Mortimer used to be up and down in first grade, out of first grade, playing reserve grade here and there, and not once did he ever whinge about it. He just shut up, turned up and done it.
Yeah.
And a lot of stars today, I think, when they get dropped because they played a couple of years of first grade and they have a few bad games, get dropped, they think it's the end of the world, and they throw up this big stink and it's them versus the freaking club, and just shut up. And were we supposed to go on down this road?
Yeah, no, that's fine. You're right. But people's egos are let down. I mean, in the Parramatta... path, it's you go back to Wentworthville, you're not in the same colours. It's mentally, it's a it's a downward.
It's reserve grade. You're playing reserve grade.
Well, you are, but it'd be nice to be playing reserve grade in the colours that you're vying for first grade.
I had some of the best times playing reserve grade. First of all, there's a lot less pressure. Second of all, these blokes that turn up, they work all day and they come and play footy because they love it, so they're in good moods, and it just inspires you to not be a whinging first grader, privileged first grader. So I think it's good for some people to.
It's just a whinging A grade player.
Yeah, it depends on the makeup of the player and how he's been dropped, and there's a lot of variables as you.
Let me get onto this shit anyway. I'm trying to make
the last game. So anyway, I think Panthers might just edge them out, but I hope the Eels get up. Titans taking on the Raiders.
Yeah, another interesting one. The Raiders were probably the biggest disappointment of last season, and the Titans were a struggling side that probably came a little bit good in the end, and both teams are hoping for better years, and I guess we don't know what to expect out of either of them. The Raiders have lost a bit of size. They've gotten rid of a couple of their big men. Yep. Maybe they'll be a little bit mobile this year, and a lot will depend on Josh Hodgson. Titans, well, new look side, new coach. I mean, sorry, not a new coach, have they? No, just new players. Yep. So, I mean, they'll be relying on Peachy and expecting big things from him.
Yeah.
So it's a case of let's wait and see. And
I'm looking forward to seeing a off-season under Ricky Stewart for the new Canberra gang, just to see how they handle that. It can be awesome for you, or can just absolutely bust you in half. And
they're one of those teams where, especially at home, going down there, and you went through that, Eric, with how cold it is down there to go and play the Raiders down at
it's the worst ever. It's the worst trip, and it's not even that far. Like, it's only 3 hours in the bus, but it's the worst trip. That and an early season game up in Townsville of a night time is just stinking hot.
And when you take down to Canberra, you take a hit up and you get belted across the nose and your eyes are watering, and it's not good.
Just going out to warm up, it's pissing down rain, almost snowing, and I used to have the friggin' long coat on that the sideline people would have, and the coach would just go, "Eric, get it off." And then the trainer would just go, "On your backs," like to stretch on the cold, wet grass. Just thinking, this is the worst day ever.
Do you know, it's not that easy. Flogged. It's not that easy on us poor reporters either, you know. Like, of all the places to have this sort of facility, Canberra's not it, but they have an outdoor media box. So middle of winter, we're sitting there, our fingers are frozen, trying to tap away on the
keyboard. Put some gloves on.
Freezes up.
Bloody hell!
What about when you're playing the guitar, Phelps? Have you ever played the guitar on a really cold day, so like down middle of winter down in Canberra? Have you ever tried to play guitar with numb fingers?
Yeah, I have. It's awful. It is. It's horrendous.
Isn't it terrible?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I usually play in the nice warm comfort of my heater, mate. I don't venture outdoors or too many cold places.
What about what's his name? Manly Frank Winterstein and his wife Taylor did not vaccinate their children. What do you think of that?
Yeah, this is going on to a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, she's charging $200 now. We're offering her services for $200 consultations to say why you shouldn't vaccinate your child.
Yeah. She calls it an anti-vaxxer workshop.
And I mean, this is something that wouldn't even be getting any air, except that she's a wag. So, yeah, I mean, look, honestly, I don't know anything about vaccination or what she's talking about. I don't know. I just did whatever the doctors told me with my kids.
That's right. I mean, she's saying that the doctors bully and pressure you into immunisation, but I didn't get that with Eric and Daniel.
Yeah, that's different times. It's different times now. But I'd say that you believe that the whole medical and government is against you, and they're doing this big scam to scare you into having to have vaccinations, so you pay lots of money, or you actually need them. I don't know, because I hear good stories and good arguments from both sides of the coin.
I mean, you can get on YouTube and you can Google the word immunisation. You'll get supposedly valid for and against arguments on the topics by doctors and health experts on both sides. I mean, what are you supposed to believe?
It sounds like a big conspiracy theory.
It comes under that banner, yeah, for sure.
It does, but it shouldn't be not looked at because it comes under the conspiracy theory banner, because sometimes you say conspiracy theory and people go, "Oh, just a crazy idiot." But hang on, what are we talking about? That's pretty hectic kind of, against for both sides. But some of the compelling arguments for kids who've had these vaccinations who've ended up with severe retardation and severe mental health issues and physical health issues because they've had it, and I'm sure if you looked into that, you'd find a lot of that as well. So what the fuck do you believe?
Yeah, but that's like saying, I mean, you go to a dance, one of those dance parties or whatever, and one person takes an ecstasy tablet, you take the same one, that person dies, but you had a good night.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It can be a factor of other things going on in the body, but I don't know. If the vaccination triggers it, then that's another argument too. Like what?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I don't know. I don't get them. I never used to get them at footy. I did a couple of times and I got sick when I got it, and I just didn't feel natural to inject sickness into you.
Is that what Steve Denk told you he was giving you?
Yeah, so I actually played for Australia that year. So, and
you weighed 110 kilo.
Yeah, that's right.
Feel like a brick.
No, but I actually had a bit of a Steve Dank in the shower this morning. Actually, funny you bring that up.
Nice.
Oh, come on, political.
You had a Roddy
correctness.
Coote
Can
lately?
we say anything? I was joking. I did on the toilet.
Anyway, Rugby League's back, guys, and the podcast is back, so we're looking forward to talking to you, Phelpsy, and that throughout the year whenever you can do it with us. We really appreciate that, and we appreciate your time and effort on today's effort.
Yep, I'll be back in the trenches soon, so hopefully be able to
bring
you some scoops. No, not Ben and Jerry's, but some Rugby League variety, and
Cold Rock.
Yeah, get some news cranking and inform everyone what's happening.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Phelpsy.
Thanks, Phelpsy. Much appreciated, mate.
No worries. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right,
See you,
mate.
buddy.